All right, everybody. So I've got a new game in the works here. I'm going to be going through the level design process for a game called Hellbreakers. You might not have heard of it because it doesn't exist yet. Because it doesn't exist yet. I'm going to be going through the level design process on this, and here's the editor. Um, it's pretty neat. You'll have to see like the stuff with the stuff in it, the stuff. I'm gonna go over this level design for it though right now. Like, I guess the first thing that I need to talk about, I should have wrote down like a list of stuff I needed to cover like right away. Okay, I have a level in the works right now, and what it needs is, um, it needs to demo the gameplay of the game. It uh, it needs to act as a demo and it needs to ramp up difficulty fairly quickly. I mean, so like normally this would be like the first level of the game or something like that. But it actually needs to play more like a level that's at the difficulty of something that is much further into the game, while at the same time, um, still showcasing something that because people haven't seen the game yet before. So I've already started working on this, and you'll kind of notice that it's intentional that you'll see sort of like callbacks to Doom style level design. This game is very, very, very much like a Doom, um, and the gameplay and everything like that. I can show you what I've got so far. Start game. So like now, the criticisms of this in its current state are that it's too dark, and my batch counts are way too high. Because I'm using too many shadow casting lights and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to like kind of tone back on that a little bit. So yeah, see if I hit F2, batch counts are basically drawing like draw calls, and draw calls are way high at the moment, which I'm probably gonna have to optimize. But anyway, let me talk about what this is supposed to be like. You first start off. Now, keep in mind, this is very much a work in progress. I mean, this is like I've only just started working on this a couple of days ago, but I started off in the main hallway here in this main area, and I kind of want to have like a window that overlooks a place that you can't get to yet, and maybe even have a couple of monsters out there that are kind of pissed at you from a distance. And you kind of look to the left. There could be maybe some pickups over here. I don't know, but like there's a ramp to go down, and you'll get your first set of bad guys. Now the difficulty in this is actually um, sort of sort of in line with what you might see with something like Ultraviolence in Doom 2 or something like that, where it actually needs to ramp up a lot more quickly, because it's really more of a demo to show the game off. So you go in and there's a lot of dark spots right now. Yeah, it's definitely a valid concern is that I have too much darkness. I'll have to correct that. And then you fight the first wave of bad guys on this hallway here. I was thinking of maybe having kind of like an armor pickup like up here. I'm thinking of moving the shotgun to here so that you have maybe have a light overlooking the shotgun, so like as soon as you turn this corner you can see that there's a shotgun here. You go to grab the shotgun, and then you're already in the action shooting things. I think that'll help ramp up the difficulty a lot more quickly. And if you look to the left, there's bad guys here. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the shotgun at this point. Although the shotgun's really not going to be that useful against this guy, but I guess it kind of would be, because it would get you to go a little bit more close. So this, right now, there's a secret up there. Like, this is very much like a Doom style flow to it. So there's a secret that I kind of want to have up here, but I'm not sure if it's going to really go with the way things are going to be. This level is going to have 3 main areas, and Um, this section right here is one of them, and then there's going to be another area over here. I'll go over that in a second. So you grab the shotgun here right now, which I think I'm going to put the chain gun here, because again, I need to get the difficulty to ramp up. I need to get you ready for serious action a lot sooner. So like by the time you're in the next area, you're going to be kind of surrounded. I'm almost thinking sort of a dead simple kind of a scenario. At least that's what was requested. It was requested. It was like have a situation where you're basically in the middle of all the action. But for somebody who is like checking something out for the first time, the feel of it, you still need to have a little bit of a flow that people will kind of latch onto, because there's that feeling that you get when you play a really good Doom map, and I think can translate perfectly into this, because this is almost, I mean, this feels very much in line with that. So, that's my take on this so far. Let me show you in the editor kind of the general direction of things, and then I probably have some like time-lapse stuff um, showing me working on it. But here's where the chain gun, and that's the secret there. I want the player to go through this doorway. Now, most people when they're navigating, they have a tendency to turn left anyway. You can almost, I mean, it's not something that you can rely on, because some people are very different and they will actually go right, but most people will turn left usually. So and also too, people will always move towards monsters. So if I'm in this area, um, so if I come down here, grab the shotgun, kill a few bad guys, chances are, even if there is a doorway right here, there's going to be bad guys coming from me in this direction, and this guy's going to be shooting. People always move towards the monsters. So you'll have like some health and some ammo, a chain gun, and a secret. This secrets are definitely something that should be telegraphed like fairly early, and like to show, hey, that's what's going to be going on in this. You're going to be getting that kind of gameplay. And this doorway here will lead out into a more open space, either through a hallway. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to kind of block things out a little bit, but it's going to be a space that takes up about... It's going to be an open space that takes about this much area, and it will be kind of attached to this uh, open space that you see through the window. In fact, it might actually be kind of cool if, when you look out this window, you're already looking into this kind of cool outdoor area, outdoory area. When I was watching older videos of this game being played, one of the things I noticed about the level design is that it's all series of corridors, corridor after corridor after corridor, and people can't have their bearings if they don't have landmarks. And one of the things I think that really helps when it comes to really good Doom level design is having those landmarks, but also like having the ability to have the level kind of wrap back in around it on itself, and it gives people a sense of a place. Because if it's just a series of corridors, you people will get lost, even though they know what they're doing, or they'll just get in this mode where they're only moving forward and they're not really thinking about layout. And then that doesn't really complement having secrets and stuff. I think I'm just ranting at this point, but yeah. So basically, that's it right here. Like, you have this space where basically you want to just fight a bunch of things. I mean, it's requested that it be like 20 to 30 monsters in this area. So, with that in mind, like, the shit's gonna hit the fan pretty quickly. like, uh, I might actually even ramp this area up a lot more. Maybe even move the shotgun a little bit earlier, if that's how it kind of feels. But I want a player to the player's first experience to kind of come into this and be like, whoa, where is this? This looks oddly familiar in some kind of a weird E1M1 kind of a way. And then you just look out here, and there's like a courtyard of some sort with like, really cool like structures for gameplay. And one of the other things about this is that the structures are specifically for gameplay. They're not really meant to actually look like actual structures. It's not meant to really look like a realistic place. It's supposed to accommodate specifically for gameplay, which is a lot like what Doom was. But we know that ultimately Doom was trying to be a Mars base or something. But I mean, ultimately it ended up just being a bunch of really cool, wacky stuff. I'm thinking that the difficulty will probably ramp up to around dead simple levels, and it'll kind of flow in that same manner. And then once you hook back around, uh, the exit will be over here, which means I'm trying to do a sort of classic horseshoe style level. Um, when I'm working on this, I also feel a little bit like I know that when uh, thinking about how Romero would do this sort of a thing, Romero likes to do the first level last, but I'm trying to do the first level first, and eh. But I kind of feel like this level will be retooled. Well, who knows? Who knows how it'll go? But I'm estimating, I'm guessing that this level will be the first level in the actual game. But who knows what'll happen on that front? Nobody does. So it would end up being a level with a lot of secrets. You know, sort of have that horseshoe flow to it, and that's really it. It's supposed to be a fairly short, fairly simple level, about 7 minutes. I'm thinking 7 minutes ish, and that's about it. So I'm working with current textures. You might probably recognize these textures actually, um, and assets and everything like that. And I'm just making best with what I got. So I'm going to do that. All right, let's go for the time lapse. I don't know why I had to say that in a weird voice. Okay, so I'm probably going to call it a night from here, but I've established this space out here um, a little bit more, so it should be kind of clear that like I'm planning to expand this space, and then this area is where a lot of the bigger combat's going to be, and I want it to kind of flow. Um, I want it to kind of have a porous flow to it, because one of the problems right now is I don't really have any scripting at my disposal. I can't make a door open when you go a little bit further out and then just surround the player. So one of the best ways that I'm going to be able to handle this situation to create a scenario where there's going to be lots of enemies is to have this sort of thing where you can kind of go around different like rocks. Um, and if I can get some rock models or something like that, or maybe I'll just use the brushes. Uh, but kind of create this outside area where it's very porous. And like as you circle around in one direction, if you come around from the left, or you come around from the right, or you take another path, right? Like there'll be different enemies will see you from different lines of sight, and what you'll end up in is a situation where if the player is moving forward, it's going to be combat. There'll be an enemy that's from behind that saw you while from a strange sight line or something like that, and so you're shooting a guy behind you, and then there's this dude up here on the sledge, and you start shooting him, and then two more guys come from the, and then it just keeps going. But um, it's actually going to be set up in such a way where the way I want the player to feel is like I kind of went into this not expecting it to be as crazy as it actually is, and then the difficulty of the fight actually turns out to be more worse than it actually is. It's kind of a disingenuous way to introduce a challenging fight because a lot of players, I mean, a cautious player won't even know that that's what I intended anyway. But most people they're just gonna like, the first two areas were fucking easy. I'm just gonna run out here and start shooting, and then like four dudes from the left, and then two dudes over here, and then there's this one guy up there shooting, and then as I'm fighting them, I'm gonna cause even more people to come out. So this whole area is just gonna flow in that kind of manner, and most people are going to bite off more than they can chew. So the whole level is going to be basically this outside area, and then one final indoor area once you get to that. Um, I don't have at the moment. I think I'm going to have to request like keys or some kind of a method of having a door open after you have a key, or I don't know. Well, that's other stuff that's unrelated to the design of the level itself. I'll have to figure that out, or at least have more talks about that. Uh, with that said, right now I'm tweaking the sunlight. You'll notice that I added a roof over the building. That is because of the way this light works. Um, this sunlight disables the range value, or it exaggerates it greatly, or does something really strange. So once you set the light type to 0, it turns into a sunlight, which is exactly what I need. But at the same time, it just ranges across the entire level and will hit everything. So I literally need to have a roof over the building if I don't want the interior areas to be hit with additional lighting that is kind of unintended. So that's that. Like once I'm happy with this. Oh yeah, and there seems to be like a graphical error. I wonder if I doubled up on brushes here or something. Nope. I don't know what's causing that. Probably T-junctions. And it is kind of messy right there. It's like T-junction hell, probably. It is kind of funny how much like Doom this feels. I'm like... You'll see while I'm playing. Okay. I need to grab the shotgun right away. Okay, I got the wrong direction on the light. Damn it. I went too far. So, this also should address the lighting issues that were mentioned before. This does not address the difficulty ramp up yet. I'm still preparing for that. And also, I'm finding myself doing a lot of tweaking. I guess that happens. That's not quite what I wanted. I'm tweaking things quite a bit right now, like trying to get something that feels right, and that's actually taking up a lot more of my time than I want. But like just trying to get these areas to feel right is like a pretty big deal, and that's like my major concern at the moment. Actually kind of want. Alright, I'm gonna try one more angle, and you see how this area out here could feel. I wonder if I can do a terrain mesh or something, make a model, just get the measurements of this and make a model that fits out here that's just terrain or something like that. Well, I'll try a couple of different things. I mean, I could definitely do a lot more than the flat surfaces that we're used to in Doom. Let's see if I can get this sunlight right. Okay, alright. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Alright, so being an Octree based engine, there's really no way for me to separate these areas at the moment. It's just a pure Octree rendering system. So there's a way that I can modify the ambient, the ambient lighting, but it has to interpolate between 2 points. So if I have an indoor, it's sort of like an ambient entity that allows me to like set things like fog distance and things of that nature. I have one near the start, but I'm probably going to have one for outside. Either that, or maybe the sunlight just shouldn't be so bright. Or I could use beauty lights to kind of highlight the wall over here. Or just keep in mind that maybe these walls need to be on a 45-degree angle or something to that effect to make it so that you're not staring at a... it might just be that the sunlight's too bright. Well, anyway, that's the sort of stuff that I'm going to have to figure out while I'm figuring out how I'm going to do this area out here. I actually kind of I'm kind of imagining a pretty interesting place. It's like, alright, so like I go around here and like shoot a couple dudes over here see me, and then I go, there's a guy up there, I shoot that, but then there's a couple more people who are, a couple more bad guys, and then like some more bad guys up here. Like all of the sight lines. Yeah, it's gonna kind of end up being that kind of an encounter where it's like wherever direction you come in from, there's gonna be enemies that spot you from different angles. So you're gonna end up fighting like here. What I don't want to see happen is the player walk into the area, see a bunch of dudes, and then come back to this doorway and just stand there like this. I want to avoid that at all costs. I'll fucking get rid of the door if I can prevent that from happening. All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna end the video here, and there will be more of this, and hope you found it entertaining. And yeah, that's that. All right. Take care.